The bitter Sunshine State rivalry between Miami and Florida State will be renewed in Tallahassee on Saturday in a key ACC showdown for both teams. The Seminoles have won 7 in a row in this series, but the Hurricanes are a slight favorite and will be looking for their first win in Doak Campbell Stadium since 2009. Prior to the season, this game was pegged as a potential preview for the ACC championship game. However, with Florida State already at 2 losses, it's unlikely Coach Jimbo Fisher's team will reach Charlotte in early December. Miami is still looking to win its first Coastal Division title, and a win here would certainly be a step in that direction for Coach Mark Richt's team. Florida State got a much-needed victory last Saturday against Wake Forest. However, it certainly wasn't easy for the Seminoles, as the offense scored the winning touchdown with less than a minute remaining. Florida State lost to Alabama 247 in the opener in Atlanta, but the loss on the scoreboard wasn't the only setback for Fisher. Quarterback DeAndre Francois was lost for the year due to injury, prompting true freshman James Blackman to make his first career start against NC State on September 23. The Seminoles fell to the Wolfpack 2,721 but earned their first win against Wake Forest last week to enter this matchup at 12. After a 94 debut at his alma mater last season, Mark Richt has Miami trending up for 2017. The Hurricanes are 30 so far and defeated Duke 316 in the ACC opener last week. Richt's team has a standout defense in place 16.3 ppg, and the offense seems to get better with each snap under new quarterback Malik Rosier. Additionally, with a standout recruiting class in place for 2018, the future of this program is in great shape. And it certainly wouldn't hurt Richt's pitch on the recruiting trail to earn a win over Florida State on Saturday. Miami holds a 3,130 series edge over Florida State. However, as mentioned previously, the Seminoles have dominated in recent years with 7 consecutive victories over the Hurricanes. 3 out of the last 5 games between these two teams have been decided by 5 points or less. Miami at Florida State kickoff Saturday, October 7 at 3:30 p.m. ETTV channel ESPN spread Miami 3 things to watch 1. Florida State's offensive line. The biggest question mark on Florida State's offense until the injury to Francois was its line. And through the first 3 games, it's clear the Seminoles still have some issues in the trenches. In last week's victory against Wake Forest, this line allowed 17 tackles for a loss and 5 sacks. A couple of linemen were banged up throughout the game, so it's tough to pin all of the problems on just performance. However, this wasn't a one-game blip. Florida State is averaging just 3.1 yards per carry and is giving up an average of 4 sacks per game, the most of any team in the ACC. Through 3 games, the Seminoles have allowed 12 sacks but have played 3 standout defensive fronts: Alabama, NC State and Wake Forest. After struggling with pass protection and run blocking so far this year, the task for Florida State's offensive line isn't going to get any easier on Saturday. Miami's defensive line is also among the best in the nation. This unit is anchored by ends Chad Thomas, Trent Harris and Joe Jackson, with 312-pound tackle Kendrick Norton anchoring the interior. Through 3 games, the Hurricanes have generated 11 sacks, with Harris 2.5 and tackle RJ McIntosh 2 leading the way. Miami is also limiting opposing rushers to just 3.5 yards per play and has allowed 1 rushing score on 111 attempts in 2017. Can Florida State's offensive line perform better than it did last week versus Wake Forest and handle the front 4 of Miami? As a true freshman, Blackman already has a lot of pressure on his shoulders and plenty to learn. One way to alleviate some of that pressure: establish the run. So far, that's been a challenge for Florida State. Jacques Patrick has 162 yards through 3 games, and impact freshman Cam Akers has just 144. In addition to pass protection, this unit has to open up a few holes on the ground and keep the offense out of third-down or obvious passing downs. Related predictions for every college football game in Week 6-2. Florida State QB James Blackman as a true freshman replacing one of college football's top 20 quarterbacks. Blackman has inherited one of the toughest assignments for any player in 2017. Due to Hurricane Irma and the cancellation of a matchup against Ulm, Blackman had no opportunity to get a game under his belt before SEC play started against NC State. As expected, Blackman has played well at times and also showcased his inexperience. The true freshman completed 22 of 38 passes for 278 yards and a touchdown versus the Wolfpack, but only connected on 11 of 21 passes for 121 yards and a score against Wake Forest last Saturday. Additionally, 83 of his 121 yards came on 2 plays, which meant the other 9 completions accounted for a meager 38 yards. Winning Saturday's game isn't going to rest solely on Blackman's play for Florida State. The freshman has been careful through the air, no picks on 59 attempts, but also needs more help from the ground game and offensive line. If Blackman has time to throw, there are plays to be made against Miami's secondary, which is the weak link of a group allowing just 16.3 points a game. The Hurricanes allowed 344 yards to Toledo on September 23, and the Seminoles can counter with a trio of talented options, including Auden Tate 13 catches, Keith Gavin 12 and Nyquin Murray 10. Blackman doesn't have to throw for 300 yards on Saturday night, but he needs to play mistake-free and efficient ball for Florida State to win. Will the freshman rebound after a shaky road performance against Wake Forest? Will Fisher get him more involved on runs early in the game to get some of the nerves in a rivalry game out of the way? All eyes in Tallahassee will be watching how Blackman plays in this matchup. 3. Miami's offense against Florida State's defense. It's a small sample size, 3 games, but Miami leads the ACC in scoring offense, 41.3 ppg. After Brett Kava's early departure to the NFL, Malik Rosier edged N'Kosi Perry and Evan Shirreffs for the starting quarterback job this offseason. So far, Rosier has been solid under center, completing 59 of 90 passes for 820 yards and 8 touchdowns to just 2 picks. He's also added 97 yards and 2 scores on the ground. While there are some kinks still be ironed out, Rosier's play has only added to a unit that features a promising group of playmakers at receiver, along with running back Mark Walton. The junior has rushed for 403 yards and 3 touchdowns through 3 games and is expected to play after dealing with an ankle injury the last 2 weeks. When Rosier looks to pass, Braxton Berrios' 10 catches has been his favorite wide receiver, but sophomore Amon Richards returned to action last Friday against Duke after missing the first 2 weeks due to a hamstring injury. Florida State's defense went into 2017 with potential to be one of the best in the nation. However, 3 games into the season, the Seminoles haven't played up to that level. This unit ranks 8th in the ACC by giving up 23.3 points per game, 7th against the run and 8th in yards per play allowed, 5.03. Also, the pass rush has been lacking just 5 sacks and opponents are completing 66.3% of their throws against the secondary. With standout defenders like Josh Sweat, tackle Derek Naughty, linebacker Matthew Thomas, cornerback Tarveris McFadden and safety Derwin James returning for 2017, it's surprising to see where this unit ranks after September. Miami's offense has scored at least 31 points in all 3 games this season. Will Florida State's defense deliver with its best performance of the year, or will the Seminoles continue to underachieve? Rosier presents a different challenge than Florida State has seen in recent years from Miami, as he's a better runner than Kaya. Additionally, the Hurricanes have made progress up front, allowing Walton to average a whopping 9.2 yards per carry through the first 3 games. Even though Rosier has passed all of his tests so far, it's probably correct to assume the Seminoles would rather keep Walton in check and force Miami to win this one through the air. Final analysis: expect another close one in Tallahassee. Everything about this game says to take Miami. The Hurricanes are better on defense right now, and the offense is averaging nearly 4 yards per play more than Florida State's through Week 5. The Seminoles have to find a way to provide more protection for Blackman on passing downs and clear the way for Akers and Patrick to generate a consistent push on the ground. Even though Florida State is a little short-handed, Miami is going to get all it can handle and plenty more. Fisher shouldn't need to provide any motivation for his team. Florida State is a home underdog to a program it has beat 7 years in a row. The series trends say to take the Seminoles, but it's hard to pick against Miami with the edge at quarterback and the line of scrimmage matchup on defense. Prediction: Miami 24, Florida State 20.